Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. Got another Master Duel video for you. Coming at you with some more Magistus Fairy Tale. I changed my build very slightly by exactly one card. I have included a second copy of Rilliona, the Magistus of Ver. That's the main deck version of Rilliona here, because this card actually can act as a one-card starter for your plays as well. I've been experimenting with certain openers and lines in order to try to make the deck feel more consistent, and I found that Rilliona adding Ver magic is actually a way to pop off. So I'm going to show you that in this example game against Shark here. It'll be just a one-turn replay because they'll concede towards the end of my combo line, but all right, so what we're doing here is we're normal summoning the Rilliona. We're adding a copy of the Ver magic, Lacrima of Light. Now we can use the first effect, and the spellcaster that we're going to send from our deck to the graveyard is Witchcrafter Jinny. The reason that we are playing Jinny is for this exact circumstance. For the second effect, you can banish this card and one Witchcrafter spell from your graveyard. This effect becomes that spell's effect when this card is activated. So the cool thing here, too, is that it's only copying the effect of Ver Magic. So Ver Magic can actually activate and use each of its effects once per turn, meaning that if my opponent has another hand trap after this, I can actually still use one of the Ver Magics in my hand to special summon another Magistus from deck. But now we can summon Zorora, we're going to equip Artemis and add Spenta, and now we're going to take our two level 4 spellcaster monsters and we'll overlay them into the Fairy Tale Wiccat. And this will let us pivot into the Fairy Tale side of plays while leaving the Spenta in our hand to be able to pick up Magistus stuff later. Now we will revive the Match Guru that we sent off her own effect, adding Ball. Ball is going to add to Fairy Tale Luna, and now the other card we sent off Wiccat, the Equip spell, Tails the Fairy Tale, can activate, equipping to the Match Guru and allowing us to extra normal summon the Fairy Tale Luna from our hand. Now the Luna can add Fairy Tale Snow, and we're going to use the Tails effect, fusing the Match Guru on field with the Snow in hand, and now we can summon out Teller of the Fairy Tales, but we're not done yet. We're going to activate Spenta's effect, and I believe my opponent's about to concede here, so let's go ahead and spoil the rest of the combo line for you. I think they actually concede here in a moment after I add the Crowley. So yeah, you're going to Spenta for Crowley, and then after being added, Crowley can special summon itself. Then, upon being special summoned, Crowley can fusion summon. We'll fuse with the Fairy Tale Wiccat, and that'll allow us to make the Zorora, the Magistus Verithragna. Then that can equip the Artemis from the graveyard to itself, giving you a Magistus monster to be able to send for its monster effect. So, that board, which again I was about to make after they, or before they conceded, here we go, there we are. So yeah, that board ends on the Teller negate, the Zorora negate, the Ball negate, Luna bounce a monster, as well as the Fairy Tale Snow turning a monster face down, Wiccat to revive, send Snow, then you can summon back Snow to turn a monster face down again. So you're only missing out on the one invoked Macabre negate. It's like the other 1.5 card line I showed a couple of videos ago, where we use Metamorphosis plus any level 4 monster to end on basically the same board state. So yeah, actually adding a second copy of the Rilliona has made the deck a fair bit more consistent, as you see in this example game here. But I want to show you a replay where we actually, play against the opponent. Okay, for this one, our opponent is going to be on Branded Swordsoul. Been encountering this quite a bit lately, but it definitely makes sense. Not only does the 3 champions of Swordsoul in itself provide good support for the archetype, but also it allows it to play very well with an extended branded package as well. So here I'm going to hit them with the draw phase Perulia. We also have the draw and Lockbird, but I'm not going to use it in response to the Swordsoul emergence because I know Swordsoul doesn't do that much searching, and looking at my hand, like, it's fine, but I would really like to have one of my actual starters here. Like, we have Zorora, which can make some plays, but it's definitely hindered by the fact that we also already have the Crowley in hand here, too. So they're going to Synchro Summon for the Chi Xiao, and then they also get the Taya effect. Taya is going to dump just another emergence, and Chi Xiao is also going to simply add another emergence. I guess they didn't really have anything else worth searching here. They'll dump that emergence for the Longyan, finding us a Metamorphosis, which is looking a lot more promising here. And then they will Synchro Summon for 10. It's going to be the Baron de Fleur. Longyon's going to burn us for 1200. They'll set a card face down and pass back over. Not what I was expecting, just a, 2022 Swordsoul end board, but we can definitely deal with that. I'm going to use Fairy Tale Snow, targeting the Baron de Fleur to force out the Chi Shao here, and we are going to try to force out the Baron de Fleur here in a moment as well. I'm going to activate Tails the Fairy Tale, and I didn't expect them to actually just straight up negate this upon activation. I was thinking that they were going to use the Baron de Fleur when I actually tried Diffusion Summon, which would have been a huge pain, but I definitely could have still answered their board and made plays without it. However, they used Baron de Fleur on the activation of my equipped spell, Tails the Fairy Tale, which again was a misplay on their part, and I'm going to punish them here for it in a moment. Alright, so that gets negated and destroyed. And now we are free to use Metamorphosis on the Fairy Tale Snow. We're going to summon out the Weaver. Now Weaver is going to summon out Magistus from deck. Magistus is going to activate, and Weaver can also activate here to start negating my opponent's monsters while also renaming them to Prince of Fairies. And Weaver, while in play, will also change any monster named Prince of Fairies into a spellcaster, letting me use it as fusion material. We can even rename the opponent's Baron de Fleur here as well. Not that it really matters. Fairy Tale Ball already allows us to attack directly anyway, but what we can do is we can actually use the Tails effect in order to fuse with their monster and my Luna in hand. And now we can summon out Teller of Fairy Tales. Not only that, but Teller also gets the board wipe effect, which is far more than enough to allow me to swing in for lethal here. And again, even if my opponent had a monster on the field, the Fairy Tale Ball allows us to attack directly anyway, making Fairy Tale quite potent at cleaning up boards. Well, not even having to clean up boards, rather, but by being able to run over monsters, go beyond them, and just swing directly anyway. So let me show you another going second game where we just amass a bunch of Fairy Tale monsters for the win. This time we're up against branded, truly branded, like a 40 card variant, not like a branded Swordsoul or anything. So this time we are going first. And this hand is fine. I mean, we have Instant Fusion and Rilliona. Crowley in hand, once again, is a little bit annoying, but decided to lead with Instant Fusion just to see, what they would do. Turns out they have a Fuelos. Now, I do have the Droll in hand, but obviously I still need to be able to do some amount of searching myself as well, right? So we're going to summon out the Weaver, give them a draw. I'm not going to Droll yet because I want to search off this Magistus, but then they threw out the Ash Blossom on the Magistus anyway. So since they drew in the previous, action, we can just Droll and Lockbird on this Chain Link. So that actually worked out pretty well, all things considered. The Magistus search was what I was really concerned about here. So now we can overlay Magistus and Weaver into the Wick Hat. And we'll use Wick Hat in order to dump the Equip spell and Once Upon a Fairy Tale, since we already have Magistus in the graveyard. We'll set Once Upon a Fairy Tale off its own effect. Magistus revives. Tails is going to equip. Now we can activate Tails. I'm going to fuse my two monsters on field. I could have debatably used one of my monsters in hand as a material, but there's kind of no reason to do it here. They'll try to nib us, but I mean, Teller was my 5th summon, so I can simply negate and destroy. I actually kind of thought they were using the nib in order to force out my negate so they could use a different hand trap, but I don't think they actually end up doing anything like that. So I'll still equip with Zorora, that way I can special summon the Crowley from hand, and then link it off into the Endymion, the link to Endymion of the Crescent Magistus. And then that way this can activate, equipping the Crowley, and now I can summon Makaba on my opponent's turn. So yeah, I mean, obviously weaker end board because I had to play through my own Droll to not give them a bunch of draws here, but I think it was worth it. So they'll summon Ecclesia. I'm going to use the Crowley, or the Endymion effect now to bounce the Crowley. They're chaining Branded Opening. I was really worried they were going to chain Ecclesia, and I'd have to use the Teller effect on it. But I'm probably just going to have to end up doing that pretty much no matter what here, right? Because if they were to... Because I did end up using Teller here. If I didn't use Teller, and they summoned Ecclesia, or they summoned Albaz in this Chain Link, right, off of Ecclesia... Chain Link 3, Ecclesia summons Albaz. Chain Link 2, Crowley fuses into the invoked Makaba, and then Quem dumps. I guess that would have been fine, right? Because then Makaba would have just banished the Albaz. So I didn't actually need to use the Teller there. That was actually a misplay on my part. Because this is the Quem dump effect, right? Not the Quem summon effect? Yeah. Yeah, that was a misplay on my part. I totally could have saved my Teller here. Well, I mean, to be fair, they're just going to end up doing the same thing anyway, right? And I guess in that instance, I probably would have used the Quem effect to just negate the, or the Teller effect to potentially negate the Quem here. But that would have really depended on what they summoned. I don't know. I definitely did misplay there for sure. So we are going to get to negate and banish the Albaz, but their last card ends up being the Branded Fusion. So they're going to fuse Tri-Brigade Spriggan's Kit with the Fallen of White Dragon for Albion the Branded Dragon. Now Albion's going to activate, and they're going to go for the Tri-Brigade Spriggan's Kit effect as well. I decided to just flip up Once Upon a Fairy Tale now, because there's no real reason to hold off on it, and I would like it in my graveyard to potentially be able to banish... Oh, Snow's not in here. Never mind. Thought I set up Snow for some reason. Okay, so they're going to go for the dragon that devours the Dogma. Of course, they have an Ecclesia monster in the graveyard, so it is going to be in Towers mode at 3,500 attack points. And now, thankfully, they didn't read my Teller and chose to battle into her first, and of course, she can't be destroyed by battle. None of my Fairy Tale monsters can. Okay, they're going to set Fallen and the Virtuous and add back Ecclesia. Now, the Fairy Tale Ball will present me an opportunity to be able to win here, even though they have their Dragon that Devours the Dogma in play. Because, as mentioned before, it allows my Fairy Tale monsters to attack directly. So, we can activate it, add Luna. Luna is going to be normal summoned, add Snow. We'll equip Tails from the graveyard, lets us extra normal summon Snow. I'm just going to move into battle phase here, because even if they try to pop the field spell with the Fallen and the Virtuous, which they don't for whatever reason, they are still just going to have it be negated by my Teller. Yeah, because I'm not misremembering that, right? Fallen the Virtuous is any face-up card. Yeah, they definitely should have tried to pop the ball before I battled, or even better yet, when I activated it. That way they, not only would I have not been able to attack directly, but I wouldn't have gotten the search. Or no, I already had ball in play, right? Yeah. So they should have definitely just popped the ball before I went to battle. But again, it didn't really matter because I had Teller and was able to negate the Fallen and the Virtuous anyway. So I got one last replay to show you, and then we will finish off. All right, so this is going to be our last game up against Hero, and this will be another opportunity for us to show some turn 1 shenanigans with the Magic Lacrima of Light. You'll definitely start to see after these games why we're playing a full playset of 3. So here we have the Zorora, not the Rilliona, but we do have the Magic as mentioned. So we're going to normal summon Zorora, equip Artemis. Artemis can add Spenta, and then I'm going to use the Magic because I control a Magistus monster. I can dump the Jenny, and same thing as we did in that first game. We're going to use the Jenny effect in order to banish it in Magic. This time I'll summon out Rilliona because I already have Zorora, add another Magic, and then we can overlay for the Fairy Tale Wiccat. And as mentioned before, if my opponent has a hand trap, I can just use the Magic second effect because it doesn't count as an activation of Magic. When I copy it with Jenny, that's Jenny's effect being treated as a second effect of Magic. But anyway, Match Guru for Ball, Ball for Luna, Tails, extra normal summon Luna, Luna for Snow. Tails F gets to activate here. We're going to fuse the Match Guru with the Luna, or sorry, with the Snow in order to make the Teller. And of course now we can use the Spenta effect. We're going to add Crowley, then we can special summon Crowley, and then I'll end up fusing the Crowley with the Wiccat off its effect, and we can summon out the Fusion Zorora. Fusion Zorora is going to get to equip the Artemis from the graveyard. We'll set Call By and Magic, and I'm feeling pretty good about this end board, right? We've got the onboard negates, we have the Call By, we've got the Ash Blossom, and we have the Fairy Tale Snow in the graveyard as well. So we're going to go Fountain for Stratos. I'm going to use the ball on Stratos here. However, they're going to chain with Droplet, sending the Fountain and Stratos. Now, Fairy Tale Ball is actually like Valor and Imperm, right? It targets an effect monster on the field and then on resolution negates the effect. So, much like Valor and Imperm, our opponent can use the Droplet in order to dodge the ball negate. So I'm going to use Call By on the Stratos in the graveyard just to make sure it gets negated. Yep, so that'll resolve. Very good play on the opponent's part here, dodging the field spell negate like that. They also, of course, get to negate the Teller and the Varathonga. Zorora fusion monster, so lose out on the negates, but we still have the Ash Blossom, the Luna, and the Snow as well. Now here I kind of regret not Ash Blossoming the Rhoda. Usually I never Ash Blossom Rhoda, but here I really need to be able to stop both of Elemental Hero, or sorry, Vision Hero Vion's effects, and Yeah, obviously if I just Ash Blossom the Rhoda, I wouldn't have to deal with it at all. But I decided to Ash Blossom the Mill effect. I figured that one's probably the more important one here. And unfortunately for me, they not only had Droplet, but also Thrust. They're going to Triple Tactics Thrust for the Triple Tactics Talent, and now Talent's going to draw them 2 cards. Looks like they're trying to dig and find some answers here. Foolish Burial, so they do get to send a monster to the graveyard, which I tried stopping earlier. It's going to be Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist will add the Miracle Ejector, and then Miracle Ejector gets to dump the Grand Mole in order to special summon. Now, Miracle Ejector gets to add EN Shuffle. And here I'm going to go for the Fairy Tale Snow. This will probably be the best case use I get for the Fairy Tale Snow, turning the Miracle Ejector face down here. Now they're not able to use the EN Shuffle. Of course, they can always fuse away face-down monsters, so again, I thought that was likely going to be the only chance I really had to use Fairy Tale Snow. Now they're going to fusion summon Elemental Hero Sunrise. Miracle Ejector will banish a Match Guru from the graveyard. That's whatever. It's a little annoying, but fine. Alright, so they get to Sunrise from Miracle Fusion. And now they're going to go for a Miracle Fusion, summoning the Thunder Giant Voltic Thunder to try to clear out the board. However, we do have the Fairy Tale Luna, so I'm going to chain that in response to bounce both herself and the Thunder Giant. And here, I made a fatal misplay. See, my thought process was, I can use Witcat and send away the Luna here. That way, not only will the Thunder Giant get bounced, but also my Fairy Tale Snow will survive the board wipe. But unfortunately for me, I was not familiar enough with Fairy Tale Luna and how she worked. Because, as you can see, while I did get to keep my Snow, they got to keep their Thunder Giant. The reason is that Fairy Tale Luna has to return both herself and that monster to the hand. I thought because she didn't have the word then in here, I would be fine. Because I know if effects say, you know, oh, target a monster and then, you know, bounce it or whatever, that wouldn't work. And I thought because the word then wasn't present, I'd be fine. But I made a mistake, and it is ultimately going to cost me, because now they have an Elemental Hero monster in play to use with the EN Shuffle, and I didn't know for sure if this was going to be lethal or not, but I decided to just concede anyway. So yeah, I mean, now I know that for the future with Fairy Tale Luna. I'd never played with the card before Fairy Tale. I never owned Luna before that, so it's kind of my, I guess, excuse for not knowing there, but you live and you learn. Anyway, let's check out the updated build now. Okay, so here is my updated build for Magistus Fairy Tale. As mentioned, I have included an additional copy of Rilliona, the Magistus of Ver, to make use of that first combo line that I showed you. And I was on 3 Fairy Tale Ball, just went down to 2. 3 is just super unnecessary. 2 is more than enough. You know, I am kind of considering playing a 3rd copy of the Rilliona here, and even if I owned 2 Match Guru, it's not like I'm using her as a, you know, budget substitute, because Match Guru is actually not a card you really want to open that badly, because normal summon Match Guru is not full combo, right? Because yeah, you could add the Fairy Tale Ball, but then you wouldn't be able to normal summon Luna, and you wouldn't have enough bodies to go into Witcat. You could add Tails, but you would need to have another Fairy Tale or Spellcaster monster in hand to fuse with anyway. So you don't really want to open Matched Guru. That's one of the reasons why I'm fine playing 1 copy. But the Rilliona, you know, that might actually work as a 3 of here. I could see myself going down on the off engine, like maybe cutting the ghost spells. Excuse me, sorry about that. Yeah, cutting down on the ghost spells and maybe playing like 3rd Rilliona and triple tack or something like that. I'll have to keep experimenting with the build moving forward. But yeah, I really am liking the additional opening options here. I know I'm on a broken record saying stuff like this when talking about this deck, but if we can just get some of that follow-up support, Genea of the Ring, Charmer's Quartet, Endymion cards, any amount of it would be a great buff to this deck. But in the meantime, we're making do and trying out all the things that we can here. So yeah, as always, if you have any suggestions for the build, definitely let me know in the comments below, and I am definitely open to trying that. But that is going to do it for now. This is Hexlex, about to sign out, but before I do, we gotta move on to our outro. That way we can thank our YouTube members and Patreon subscribers for their extra generous support. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.